Let's look at the empiricists. John Locke, George Berkeley, and David Hume are empiricists. They argue that true knowledge should be based on experience. Plato, Aristotle, and Descartes are rationalists. They argue that true knowledge should be based on necessary truths. So we begin with John Locke, and Locke begins with a study of Descartes and rejects Descartes. Scholars will tell you many of Descartes' ideas are adopted by Locke. It is not that Descartes is against the cogito, I think, therefore I am. What Locke is against is the idea that we can know that the physical world, our belief in the physical world, is not grounded in the full experience of what our senses give us. We have to trust our minds. And so Locke, being heavily influenced by science, he himself studied for a while to become a medical doctor and practice in some sense as a doctor for a while, is very much influenced by looking at the world through experience. He begins his writing by attacking Descartes' notion of innate ideas. These are some statements he brings to argue against innate ideas. But before I go further, well, this is the ideas, right? He's raising doubts. He's almost using radical doubt against Descartes. Oh, Descartes, you believe in innate ideas? Hey, man, check this out, all right? I mean, how do we know an idea is innate? How do I know you're born with an idea? Is universal agreement mean you're born with it? Universal assent mean universal agreement. Locke will respond, no, Descartes, look at the sky. Ask any adult what color sky in their own language. Guess what they'll tell you, Descartes? It's blue. They aren't born with that, Descartes. They learned it by experience. Huh. Just forget about this innate idea, man. Children do not possess these ideas. Descartes, are you saying that people, young, when they come into the world, they're born with ideas? Like a baby's crying, daddy, 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 I think therefore I am. Descartes? Children don't possess these ideas. All right? How do the children get their knowledge? Through education, through experience. Now, Descartes, one more thing. We have a lot of uneducated people in our society who, because of unfortunate circumstances or their parents decide not to enroll them, these uneducated people prove that there are no innate ideas, because if they were born with the ideas, they don't even need to go to school. They wouldn't be contradicting themselves. You know, knowledge is already there. You're born, you have the knowledge, you go forward in life. But Descartes, no, it doesn't work like that. Without good education, you can't have the best life possible. So Descartes, I want to bind his innate ideas, but when I look just slightly observing, I don't see that this is really true. Now, I want to stay right now. Locke doesn't prove Descartes wrong, but he throws out radical doubt, some doubt on it, right? On the idea of innate ideas. But he also misinterprets Descartes, right? I got to be very clear. Socrates had this idea that we come in the world with ideas. We come in the world with knowledge, not Descartes. Cogito ergo sum is not about language. You know, it's not about language. What he is, Locke is attacking the Socratic view of innate ideas. You come into the world with these ideas, so he can argue in this way. It doesn't prove that they don't exist, but he can cause some reasonable doubt. Descartes' form of innate ideas is true in virtue of intuition, and humans do have that intuition. We don't learn to be intuitive. That comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. So he sent out a doubt, a system of doubt, and since Descartes is a rationalist like Socrates, then perhaps you could say, okay, maybe there's a small reason for us to doubt. Then Locke responds, say, hey, look, now that you agree that these might be false, let me tell you how the world really, really works. All the ideas we have in our head, come through life experiences. This causes a great confusion. And I'm not really criticizing Locke directly, because remember, we're in hindsight. All of you who are listening to my video, we're in hindsight. After all these great years have talked, people like me can come and review all together and compare and contrast and see where they're at. Based on where they're at in history, it's probably okay. At that time, science is taking a big role in leading society, the age of enlightenment, things are happening. People think we can have all knowledge through experience, and he's running with it. But as the In my previous video, my previous episode, I talked about ideas in the mind. Yes, empirical ideas in the mind, so are innate ideas. If you taste the cheesecake, you're going to experience the flavor of the cheesecake. That's empirical. Your attitude toward the cheesecake, I like it or I don't like it, that's an innate idea. Yes, you need the experience for you to see if you like it or not. But there's two classes of ideas now exist in the mind. Somebody else eating the exact same cheesecake will have the same physical experiences of it, but they may not like the cheesecake. You see? So by making the claim that experience is the source of all ideas, it leaves a little problem that the philosophy and epistemology try to deal with. I would say in the contemporary time, we should be modern and see that this philosophy at that point in the time, their declaration because where they're at. Now that we've gone through the struggle of these ideas for so long, we can see more clearly that that's only part of the picture. The definition after that is very simple because this is the standard common sense view since science now dominates in many areas of the academy. So there's the mind, the knower, and there's the external world. I just have a cube there, but any objects. So their theory is really about knowing things in the world. Remember, Descartes went inside the mind and tried to figure out what ideas he had that true beyond a shadow of a doubt. Locke began by looking at things on the outside and saying, how do I know these things? Well, he claims that, and he's agreeing with science, there's invisible signals, infinitesimally small signals that traveling from objects and striking your senses. When these things strike upon your senses, it generates a sensation. And that sensation generates the empirical idea inside your head. Okay, it's a passive theory. You stand there and boom, it hits you. It's inside your head. And so that empirical idea, because it's formed from the sensation strike upon your senses, that becomes knowledge. So the definition of knowledge is very straightforward in that sense. A person has knowledge of X, if and only if he or he's had direct experience of X. This is the common sense definition of knowledge people use. I look in the driveway, I see a Lamborghini, boom. Now, there is a delay in this. We won't go deep into it. When I look at the Lamborghini, I don't necessarily have empirical knowledge. When you go deep in it, what happens, I look at the Lamborghini, the idea strikes upon my senses by the causal theory of perception, and then boom, the idea formed. There is a forming of the idea. It's not like just an understanding, I'm thinking about it. No, the idea forms automatically. It's just like systematic boom. The idea forms in my mind. This is the standard definition that Locke presents us with. There's more now. Once we have this definition, Locke now attempts to apply that knowledge in detail. When he does, there's some challenging things that occur.